Hey guys, Brett Weiss here. Welcome to another video. We're at Retropalooza 2024 in Fort Worth, Texas. This is the first time it's been in Fort Worth. Previously it was in Arlington, but this is downtown Fort Worth at the Convention Center, Texas, my hometown. This is awesome. So let's go through the venue. Let's look for rare games, maybe talk to a couple of the guests. And at the end, I'll show you guys my pickups. So let's check them out. Thanks for watching. Let's check out Retropalooza. Hey, look here. First up is General Malice. Pretty awesome. What are you doing here? Why are you in Fort Worth, Texas at Retropalooza? You're a long way from home.
Well, man, awesomely enough, Jay invited us out here as Malice Media to showcase our awesome games that we're promoting with Dead Drop Studios and First Moon Games. On top of that, we have the University of Texas at Austin internships. Here hanging out with us here, we have an internship with the University of Texas where we teach them, their computer science majors, and how to do and participate in the gaming genre, like conventions and behind the scenes with video game companies.
So you're an agent for some different YouTubers. What is that about?
Oh man, so I represent a bunch of very talented people. We just recently picked up John Hancock, super awesome YouTuber. He provides a lot of interesting takes on Gen 2 items like Atari and television and stuff like that. And he's also an independent programmer and game designer.
So you're his agent. What does that mean exactly?
Well, what that means is, you know, we like to get him involved with your community and have the show come out where he can participate and bring awareness to your brand, like your shows, conventions, your stores, and stuff like that. So,
Excellent, man. Thanks a lot. And let's get to the games, guys. Let's check it out. Appreciate you, sir.
Thanks.
You bet. There is a ton of games here at Retropalooza. This is one of the most game-heavy conventions of all the ones that I do. Now, there are a lot of conventions that have a mix of comics and games and 8-bit art and all that stuff. Retropalooza definitely has a wide variety of items, but just in terms of actual games, it is awesome. And here is an entire tower of games from various generations, including randomly a copy of Frogger for the Atari 5200, some 2600 stuff there. And some more modern stuff, pretty cool, pretty cool. Here's a showcase of highly desirable items, including Earthbound. A lot of must-owns for the Super Nintendo. Yeah, you must own Tetris, Dr. Mario. Two of the greatest puzzle games of all time. Some great RPGs here. Excellent stuff. I love the Jungle Green N64 look. Just a beautiful controller and console. A lot of Pokemon. Pokemon games are common. They make a ton of them, but man, they always seem to go up in value. So much demand. Rodland. Have any of you guys ever played Rodland for the NES? Interesting. Mule. A lot of great N64 or NES stuff here, I should say, including a religious game, Spiritual Warfare. TMNT, notorious for being difficult, although a very nostalgic pick for a lot of gamers. I know a lot of people who grew up playing that title. And a lot of people that never beat it back in the day. And here's the N64 stuff. I'm at Retropalooza on a Sunday afternoon, and it's been a fun show. I've picked up a few games that, like I said, I'll show you at the end of the video. A lot of GameCube. The GameCube has really taken off in recent years as one of the more collectible consoles, and definitely got a great selection here, including multiple copies. So if you want to pick out the best one, maybe the one that's in the best condition, you could certainly do that at this booth. Look at all those copies of Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Wow, this is really impressive. I like that you can pick out the copy you want. Some of us are pretty picky when it comes to collecting and wanting the one in the best condition. 6 games in one, really rare NES game. Turbo graphics on the go, love that. Very rare handheld. Ooh, an NFR Star Fox. Excellent. Super Weekend.
Okay.
Competition cart. Definitely a grail for the Super Nintendo. Surprise at Dinosaur Peak. You guys know how rare that is. That's well known for being hard to find. Check out that alternate cover on Zombies Ate My Neighbors. Maybe you guys have never seen that particular box art. Competition cart for Donkey Kong 64. Excellent booth. Nicely done. Check out that Beetlejuice VHS cover or promo. That's killer. $500 for that. And check this out. Fox McCloud. Star Fox prototype statue used at E3. That is awesome. Some modern collectibles, including Neo Geo Pocket Color for the Switch. The Switch is just an incredible console for retro collections and whatnot. It's becoming one of my favorite systems for sure. Last Starfighter, I need that one. I love the movie, and I know the game's not like the movie, but I love the box art. Always great seeing Neo Geo stuff at the show. I don't ever buy it. I don't really collect for the Neo Geo, but it's always super cool to see. Extremely rare, very sought after by hardcore collectors. Ristar or Ristar, however you want to say it. Platformer that's excellent. Unfortunately, it's very hard to find, especially complete in the box. Love that game. You can play it on the 360 collection, I believe. A couple more Neo Geo games here. Excellent. And the Halo Xbox. That's the Xbox edition that I own. Sweet. Check out this N64. This is one you don't see every day for sure. More Neo Geo greatness. And a little bargain area for Neo Geo games. Buy two, get one free. That's cool. I would get Puzzle Bobble, Bust a Move, and King of Fighters 2002. I really enjoy collecting cartridges for vintage computers like the VIC-20. Beautiful purple boxes. Love that. Some of the old Aladdin games compatible with the deck enhancer. See what we got under here. These are pretty fun games, especially Dizzy and Linus. And there's a deck enhancer. So yeah, you need to get that for your NES, and then you can play the game. Sega Genesis 3, the core system, definitely harder to find than your typical original Sega Genesis. And I love that atomic purple controller for the N64. And my man John, game hunting. How's it going today? Are you enjoying Retropalooza?
Yes, sir.
Were you here yesterday too?
Yep.
So have you made any good pickups?
Yeah, I scored like, 12 completed box NES games and 3 Switch Collector's Editions. Printy Presents Classics Volume 1, 2, and 3, big boxes.
Now you're going for some full sets for the Super Nintendo?
Yeah. Completed
And,
box, NES completed box. I'm actually 4 boxes away from reaching 600 CIB Super Nintendo.
Excellent, excellent, man. Well, good luck in your pursuits, and it's always great seeing you at these shows.
Yeah, likewise. Great seeing you too.
Yeah. And nestled among these NES games are some 3DO titles. Many of you probably know that I've talked about this before. I got my 3DO at a thrift store called Thrift Town for $12. They had it just mixed in with the VCRs probably about 20 years ago. That was a great score. Love that Mongol School. Love that cover. Excellent.
I'm going to take it.
Okay,
You got to take card?
we do. Let me call my husband though, because he's got the chip.
And there are definitely bargains to be found at Retropalooza, including 3 for $10 on these 360 games and PS2, Xbox One. if you get discouraged that retro games, vintage video games are so expensive, consider collecting for more recent consoles. You'll be glad you did in a few years when these are, you know, out of your price range or just in general worth a lot more money than they are today. You can definitely get a lot of cheap. And you know, there's some Super Nintendo titles that are really inexpensive. Ooh, Shinobi 3, my favorite game in that series. F1 Race, complete in the box. Nice. One of the few bigger box games for the Game Boy. Wiz and Liz, pretty tough game to find. As is Mazen Saga Mutant Fighter. That's a tongue twister. It's interesting how some of these sports games don't age that well. Who today remembers Keith Van Horn, the cover star of NBA Jam '99? This copy is factory sealed, 20 bucks, not bad. Maybe I should pick that up to open on my channel. You guys know I love opening factory sealed games. And the Super Scope for the Super Nintendo, not nearly as beloved as the Zapper for the NES. It could be the ginormous size or just the fact that the Zapper had better games. That's probably it more than anything. Ooh, the Killer Instinct edition of the Super NES. Very hard to find. That's awesome. Nice. And we've got a couple of really interesting Pong clones here, including the Adversary by National Semiconductor. Extremely cool. It's $80. I totally get it. This was a hard one to find for sure. And behind that, you've got the First Dimension video system. 2 boxed Pong clones that I've never seen either one of these in the wild. Extremely cool. And Retro Madness is set up here with some really cool stuff. Justice League Chronicles. That's a GBA game that I would love to have because I do collect superhero games.
Good, sir.
Excellent stuff.
You wouldn't happen to have a Nintendo Switch?
Check it out, guys. I just stumbled across a bunch of boxed Atari 2600 games. Excellent. Asteroids is amazing. Love me some Centipede. Even though the mushrooms are squares, it's still a very good port. Football is pretty ridiculous. The players look like gingerbread men, but classic stuff all around. Demon Attack. Riddle the Sphinx. Greatness by iMagic. Superman for the 2600. Complete copies have gone way up in value over the last few years. Very desirable title. Very early adventure game with a storyline and multiple screens. Always good to see the old Atari 2600. And we got some nice items here under the showcase. Jet Force Gemini, which people used to call a hidden gem for the console, but I think they've called it that so much it's actually just a favorite game now. Diablo collection, that's awesome. Like I said, the Switch is just an incredible haven for retro collections. And Case O Saturn, including Virtua Racing, one of the popular games for the console. Die Hard Trilogy. Son loves that game. It's a good port. Iron Man Exo Manowar, the forgotten Exo Manowar comic book series. Sonic R, very cool. At the Sonic Expo in Dallas, the person who sang on the soundtrack for that game is going to appear at the Sonic Expo in November. Pretty cool. Dragon View is definitely a tough box game to find for the Super Nintendo. And you just got some pretty typical 3DS stuff here. A couple of hard ones to find. Star Raiders, an early favorite for Atari 2600. Big box, comes with a video touchpad and a comic book. Pretty cool. 50 bucks. And it was originally $39.95, so hey, with inflation, it's actually cheaper now. All right, let's check out some more boxed games here. Beautiful Joe, looks like that one's factory sealed. Ooh, Street Fighter 2 for the Game Boy, pretty uncommon. Super Bomberman 2. They had a tournament here at Retropalooza for that. And the person that won the trophy for that brought it by to show us at the booth, and it was really cool.
Thank you. I couldn't.
And here's some very desirable box titles. Pinocchio for the Game Boy, $190. Project Justice, well known for being a hard to find game. Chibi Robo, a lot of GameCube collectors looking for that one for sure, and some pretty rare Super Nintendo stuff here. Along with some hard to find NES titles, including Rockin' Cats. That's a fun platformer that I would love to find in the wild, somewhere besides a gaming show when I could get it for really cheap, because it's a great game, but I need it for my collection. But I don't want to pay collector prices. And there's quite a bit of Japanese games here at this show, including some nice Super Famicom boxed copies. Love the box art. I love the vertical box art because it gives such a different look for your shelf collection. And typically the art is much different than on the Super Nintendo versions. So love that. Fun system to collect for sure. And some Japanese N64 stuff. And you know, the prices on the Japanese games are usually cheaper because they're printed so many of them, and they're a lot more common than the US releases typically. Any of you guys played Tetris for the Virtual Boy? I haven't actually played Tetris. I've got a Virtual Boy in about 9 games, but I never did play Tetris. Got some more imports over here, including Mother. Any Earthbound fans here? Let me know in the comments. Legend of Zelda, essentially. Some graded stuff here, including Dracula Crazy Vampire. Very tough to find for the Game Boy Color. Love that box. Back to the Future 2 and 3. Not a great game, but the cover art, love it. Same with Wolverine. Probably one of the worst NES games, but man, the cover really pops.
All right.
And another Tower O boxed games. Like I said early in the video, pound for pound, Retropalooza has maybe the most games of at least top 5 or so conventions of just sheer amounts of games per capita. Probably 80% of the vendors here just loaded down with games. There's an Interactor virtual reality GameWare for the Genesis and Super Nintendo. Let me know in the comments if you've ever seen this or used this. It's a horrible way to play games, but it's rare. It's a cool collectible for sure. All right, guys, surprise guest appearance from Billy with the Game Chasers. Billy is one of the co-runners of Retropalooza.
Oh, definitely not.
You're definitely not one of the co-runners.
I don't do anything when it comes to Retropalooza other than complain.
So Jay is the main man with Retropalooza, but Billy is Retropalooza adjacent for sure. So what are some of the challenges with moving to a new venue from Arlington to Fort Worth?
I will say this, I helped spurn some of the ideas. But,
There you go.
So
Co-founder,
that's
maybe?
my extent. I guess him bouncing off ideas, maybe. I don't remember that far back.
That
I'm already
works,
losing
that
memory,
works.
But it's been a long time.
Right.
In fact, it's been well over 10 years, probably pushing 12 at this point, and it's always been in one single location. So, you know, when you've been doing that for so long in one spot, everybody automatically knows what to do. Very little questions arise. It's usually the same vendors, the same attendees. Everyone knows where to go, where to park, what to do. The challenges that come from moving it to a place like this is there's a lot of unknowns. A lot of questions that you don't really think to ask, you don't encounter until the day of, and so it's a lot of just stuff that just pop up that you're like, man, okay, what do we do here? What do we do there? Things you really can't anticipate, and that just goes with moving to a location that's completely different. That's just bound to happen. The fact that it's in downtown offers parking challenges, but things I love is I think the size of it. I think it's great.
Yeah, it's a huge show, man. There's a lot of room.
Absolutely, it's a nice, roomy place. The facility itself is really nice. I really love the facility. It's nice. It's not dilapidated. It's a very cool place to actually hold an event. And there's enough space to actually have wrestling, which is awesome.
Right. Do you think it'll return here next year, or is that all up in the air?
It's all up in the air right now. There's several factors involved. He's always looking to improve things and make things easier for people.
Right.
And if that means moving it to another location, then that's always going to be a possibility. But right now, I think it's just too early to tell.
Well, one thing is clear. Next year, I will be here, and you will be here as well. Great show. It was a good turnout, especially on Saturday. There were a ton of games here. I always tell people, of all the conventions, Retropalooza has so many actual games for sale. That's one of the strong selling points of Retropalooza. If you're a collector and you've got stuff to trade, or you just want to come out and buy some stuff for your collection, it's one of the best shows.
Yeah, and which reminds me, I haven't even had a chance to go out there and look, so I'm going to have to do that before this closes.
Well, now's the time, because, man, we're getting down to it.
Yeah, I'll get some deals out there.
All right, thanks, Billy.
Man, appreciate it.
And as you can see, it is getting time to wrap up. Vendors are starting to close up shop, and we're going to end up at the Heritage Auctions booth with my friend and co-worker Sierra Caballero. So what did you think of Retropalooza?
I think that the whole video, the whole time, was you just being lost and trying to find me.
How did you know?
I just know you.
Did you enjoy the show?
Yes, I did. It was really fun. I got a Motel Hell steelbook. By the way, I'm just going to show it off if that's okay.
Yeah, and then I'm going to show you guys my pickups. Sierra and I are both big fans of collecting DVDs and Blu-rays. Check it out, Motel Hell. Let me know in the comments if you've seen Motel Hell before.
Yes.
It's a great flick. It's a great bad. Would you call it a great bad movie or just a great movie?
It depends on who you ask, but I think it's a great movie.
Yeah, excellent.
I love horror comedies. I'm a big horror fan. Some of
Yeah.
you know this, some of you don't.
Right.
But when this movie was announced through Screen Factory for the steelbook, I missed out. I know. I missed
Right.
out. But this is hey, it was fate.
Yeah, that's what's great about conventions. You never know what you're going to run across. You can fill in missing, things in your collection, and you got it for a decent price and everything. Excellent. Well, thanks, Sierra.
Yes.
Now it's time to check out my pickups.
Ooh.
Yeah.
This is really fun. You'll like his picks.
Awesome. And as you guys probably know, I was looking for bargains today. As usual, Dark Crystal and Christine on Blu-ray, great movies. Got these games, all the video games I'm going to be showing you, I got for $2 for $5 each. Not the graded ones under there, but this row of, pretty common games for the most part. But the NES games I definitely need for my collection. And you can't beat the price for $2 for $5, especially for ColecoVision. You guys know how much I love that system. I have these two games, but I just picked them up for trade. And I'm definitely keeping TNC Surf Designs. That is a fun game. Wood and Water Rage, great stuff. All right, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing to my channel.
Everything. Thank
Yes.
you for being you.
Everything in the whole world. Thank you. We have gotten it's late Sunday afternoon. We have gotten super loopy.
Loopy.
We've had a good time, but we're exhausted.
My friend Nick gave us rocks.
Yes, we have
Aren't they
rocks.
so pretty.
So now we don't just have rocks in our
We
head.
lost our marbles.
Yes, now we have rocks in our heads and our hands.
We
Yes.
should wrap this video.
Let's wrap up this video before it just gets too silly.
We're just gonna off the deep end.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot. We'll talk to you in another video. Hey, guys. I just got home from the convention and realized I didn't show you what I picked up on Saturday. I got these for $3 each. Rayman Raving Rabbids. My kids loved this game when they were little. Kid Nicky Radical Ninja. I got that back in the day for my NES when it first came out, so it's great to get that again. Mine's long gone. Love me some second gen, as you guys know. This is a CIB copy I didn't have. And hey, who does not love Gran Turismo? Or Turismo? How do you say it? Let me know in the comments.